Oh my God,
I actually full toileted.
Oh my gosh, Cally,
full toileted. Midlife women are especially worth a lot, I think, in society, and we should value ourselves and back ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love this.
Kind of weird way to grow up in a boys' school playing the piano on your own in a soundproof box. It might explain why I've become a stand-up in later life. But so I did become exactly. I just give me a voice for God's sake and take me out of a soundproof booth. So
ironic.
Well, exactly, it's very traumatic.
Yeah, it's triggering.
It's very triggering.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Emma Jo Real-Davies. I am a QVC presenter, garden expert, and the new host of the Joy of Shopping podcast. And I am very, very excited about today's guest, who is a stand-up comedian, an author, a podcaster, and a speaker. It's Cally Beaton.
Oh,
Cally. Oh,
I'm so excited to be here. We've actually had the best chat before we got started. I feel we're almost done.
We're almost done.
I don't know what else we're going to say.
I don't know what else we've covered
some good ground.
We really have. We're going to start with, because obviously it is the joy of shopping.
Yes.
We're going to start with the very last thing you bought, Cally.
Well, it's funny you should ask me the very last thing I bought, because I was getting ready to come here. It's a warm day that we're recording this. My hair does need a little assistance with hair straightening on days like this. So I ended up using my very new hair straighteners that arrived yesterday.
Oh!
As I was straightening my hair, you may be able to tell as you're looking at me where this story is going to end. They exploded. In my hand, I was half straightened, so I look quite peculiar probably. And yeah, they literally exploded. Not only did they explode, they fused the whole house. So my latest purchase, instead of sparking joy, just sparked my whole house.
Oh my
So I was like, oh, I've got to get over to QVC and I want to look nice. And how ironic that something I've purchased is broken just before I'm talking about purchases.
No, it hasn't broken, Cally, it's exploded.
It's exploded. So literally, I might say I did not get it from QVC.
Good.
It absolutely has nothing to do with you guys. So yes, I bought it from another outlet, and that'll teach me, because I bet you have good hair straighteners.
We really do.
Well, I need to steal some before I go home.
Word.
So I am now hair straightenerless, and because I was in a hurry to come here, the house is also in cool darkness, which is fine on a hot day. I'll sort it when I get home.
Oh my God.
But it's fused the whole house, my last purchase.
This is quite a story.
Quite timely.
How does this stuff happen to you?
If you'd asked me earlier on today, what's your last purchase, it would have just been hair straighteners, boring.
Yeah, boring.
Now it's hair straighteners, interesting.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So they literally exploded in your hand.
Literally exploded like a proper massive bang. It was like a proper, bonfire night. Like, to the point I was kind of like, the dog was in the room. He was like, what on earth's happened? I was like, I don't know. And they were just literally steaming in my hand.
Oh, right. You need to be suing these.
I do actually, don't I?
You need to start a court case.
I do. I really do.
I exploded with them.
I know. Well, I could have done. I could have been like the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz.
Or Wicked.
Yeah, Wicked.
Yeah.
It's ironic because I was only just watching Wicked as well.
Were you?
There's a lot been going on.
Oh my gosh, you are very busy.
I'm a very busy person. Yes.
Oh my word. Well, I hope you get home and you can unfuse the house.
Well, exactly. So it's a wonder that shopping didn't actually kill me.
Yeah.
So that would have
Never
been
heard
like.
that one before.
I know. Imagine if you hadn't had me as a guest, because I got blown up by a hair straightener. Great bit of publicity for you, though.
Really, really great. Not so much for you.
No, good for me, but I can't benefit from it.
No, quite. Oh my God. Right,
so that's my last purchase.
Wow,
I'm glad you asked.
Yes, good. I'm glad we heard that.
Yeah.
My word. Okay, I feel like my next question is just, I don't know how we're going to top this.
I think we peaked early. I
was going to say, just because you're so wonderful and so hilarious obviously because you're a stand-up comedian, but also just with everything you do in life, I just feel like you're going to have some good stories here. Have you purchased weird things at 3 a.m, a sort of little impulse buy that you've then been like, why? What is this? Where does it come from? I don't even remember buying this.
Most of what comedians are usually doing at 3 a.m, and it's not rude, what we're usually doing is writing, because usually the only time we can think of funny things is when we've just come off stage. So quite often we will be up till 3 writing, because it's the only time we have good ideas. So my stupid purchases or weird purchases are more likely to be if I come, like if we were recording here just off Oxford Street, there's every chance when I came away from this that I would go and buy something weird that I didn't need. I did clothing wise, this wasn't online, this was actually something I had even tried on. So there's really no excuse for this. It wasn't 3 a.m. and it wasn't an impulse buy. I went into a shop and there's, as you know, a trend at the moment for sort of balloon trousers and culottes and quite wide trousers.
Yeah.
I am not the shape for wide trousers. I do know that in my clever brain, but another bit of brain had kicked in, and I saw these emerald green jumbo cord cross between a culotte and a circus pant.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. And I tried them and I thought, oh yeah, I'll wear these. Anyway, I got home and I, of course, thought, what on earth was I thinking? So then I took them back in a couple of days later, and the lovely person at the cash desk had to fill in the form of was there a problem? I said, no, they just weren't for me really. And she went, so was there anything about them? I said, I just think jumbo emerald green cord circus pants are a bridge too far. And she wrote as the reason for return, a bridge too far.
That is my favourite thing.
Yeah, I absolutely,
I
loved it. I have to say, there's a fly in your hair.
Oh, is
or
that?
an
Oh,
ant,
get it out.
maybe.
Oh gosh, that is very me.
That's
I
an
haven't
ant,
come from
yes.
the garden, but you would think I probably have. There are plants in here. So
Yeah, exactly.
thank you,
I think it was a flying ant.
I didn't buy it. Can I do? Oh, flying ant.
Yeah.
Have we missed
There's
flying ant
only
day?
one day, isn't there?
Yeah, what day is
I think
that?
they're all in your dress.
They're all here today. Ants in the pants,
coming out.
flying and otherwise.
But yes, so the emerald, so bridge too far, and I did love the fact that officially there's some paperwork somewhere. I won't say which store it was, but there's a paperwork somewhere saying a bridge too far. So you know when you buy things online and you tick the reason, I feel they should be adding a bridge too far to the code 8 bridge too far.
Oh my gosh, I just love that story. That's amazing.
So that was a sort of sane. Yeah, and actually one of the other most stupid things I bought was also hair straighteners, not the blowing up ones, but I'm quite easily influenced by the combination of my children and being out somewhere, and if I think it'll make them happy. So when my daughter was about 12, we were at Selfridges and they were doing one of those demonstrations with hair straighteners, and neither of us needed or used hair straighteners at the time. And they were ridiculously overpriced. They weren't even fancy ones. I knew we were getting fleeced, completely knew, but just kept walking towards parting with my money. It was just, but it felt good at the time. And my daughter was so excited. Neither of us ever. Maybe I should dig them out as I need them now.
You've still got them?
I hope so.
You need to get a torch when you get home. Have you got a torch in a drawer?
Well, I've got my phone with it.
I've got my phone. Oh my God, what's wrong? I'm like living in the 1950s.
Exactly,
boomer. What's wrong with me? Oh my God.
So yes, exactly. No offence to any boomers listening and watching.
Of course we love this.
Yeah, we do love boomers.
You probably know, I don't know if you do know this or not, but at QVC we have this thing called the 60-day money back guarantee.
Yes,
do you know about this?
Yes, well that's a very, very...
It's very good.
Very good.
It's 60, very good.
And that's such a generous period.
Very generous.
Yeah.
And what is good is, sorry, I'm going all silly now, but you can literally buy something, try it on, take it home, wear it, use it, and then if you don't like it, it doesn't matter if you've worn it, you can then send it back.
Do you think QVC are wanting you to say wear it and then send it back?
I think we say that quite a lot, don't we, Becky? Do we say that? I say it.
Yeah.
If you use it and it's not for you,
then that's
sometimes
fine.
You don't know until you read
So I might have worn that beautiful evening dress to host 5 award shows, as long as they've all happened within...
Exactly, in the 60 days.
Well, this is very appealing.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd realised that bit.
No. Get the straightness.
Yeah.
But what I was going to ask you, I feel like we've all done this, where we have bought an outfit or we've bought something for an event, or maybe you've done a stand-up gig where you've been like, I just need some like absolute killer boots.
Yes.
And then you've been like, oh, really couldn't justify those, so I'm just going to pretend I haven't worn it and send it back. Have you done that before?
I have done that.
Right.
I do always feel a bit guilty about doing that. I do. Yeah, I do. Even when I do shoots, like a couple of times a year, there'll be a shoot for a new, for a publicity campaign or the website or whatever, a shoot that's not for a specific article or reason. And then they'll say, oh, you need a pink corduroy suit and you need a this and a that. And even then I feel really bad, even if it's just for a shoot, to get it. And the people at the shoot, like the makeup people and the photographer and the stylist, are like, what is your problem? Just send everything back. I don't know why. I'm quite a sort of vintagey, upcycle shopper. So I think I already feel a bit queasy when I'm buying things that are new and a bit frivolous.
Yeah.
As you can see in my summer black dress. I don't want to treat myself like a princess.
Yeah. I said though earlier, it's very Parisian, very chic.
Yeah, well I like the fact you've gone Parisian.
Yeah.
I've gone really ill dressed for the summer, really bad summer dress.
No.
It's actually very cool, this dress. As in it's not at all warm.
It looks like, is it cheesecloth?
Yes, and it's so it's actually a wonderfully summery thing.
I really like
Apart from it really doesn't exude summer, does
I think that's fine. That's your brand, Cally.
And it's what I'm wearing now.
And it's what you're wearing, you can't change.
It's that or my very big pants and bra. Yes, we could
which would be fine
them.
too.
Yes, it would be fine, but a different type of a vibe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, how you first got into comedy, because obviously you got into comedy in midlife. Inspired, actually not just inspired by, but actually told to you by a very influential woman with QVC fame.
Do you know, I won't say I'm the only person who finds QVC the giddy height of what one might achieve in life, but I feel so genuinely excited to be doing anything to do with QVC. And my paths first crossed with QVC when I was at a sort of corporate event and they were sponsoring it. And first of all, I loved the women I met who were doing it from QVC. I was like, oh, I love all of you. And then they started telling me about the menopause stuff that happens here. I was like, amazing. But it also ties into my comedy origin story. I think I was more excited about QVC than the women who work for QVC. I think they were like, calm down, it's just QVC. I was like, no, it's not just anything. So my story is, so I used to work in television. I used to be a TV executive. So I was on the sort of boardroom, senior management side of life. And I ended up working for many years for Viacom CBS, who owned, among other things, Comedy Central at the time. I was based in London, but I would ferry back and forth to New York a lot. And we would host events around the world, industry events for jaded, drunken TV executives in the hope they would part with their money and invest in our shows. I was there very much as a business person. But I would meet some really amazing A-listers who we would invite to these events to go on stage. And I would be the person who would host the events and bring the celebrity on. And I soon realised, I did loads of these, that you've just got to keep the audience sort of vaguely awake at the wheel until the person they're interested in comes to the stage. And it was in those years that I had the massive honour and pleasure of working on many occasions with the late, great Joan Rivers, who people will know as an iconic feminist stand-up, not everyone will know, was a massive QVC presenter. I mean, you could not meet Joan Rivers without her opening up her coat and having like QVC merchandise.
I love this.
She was she lived and breathed it. Let me tell you, she was proud of what she did for QVC, genuinely proud.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
She would literally be giving out QVC stuff to people everywhere. So the two things I knew about her were that she loved QVC and that she was an amazing feminist comedian. And it was Joan Rivers who said to me, I think you should give stand-up a go. I think what you do when you introduce me is very close to stand-up warm-up. And at the time I was 45 and I said to her, I'm a 45-year-old single parent of 2 kids. One of my kids has special needs. It's too late for that. And she just looked at me and she said, Cally, I'm 81. What's stopping you? And she died not long after that conversation due to very unforeseen circumstances with surgery that didn't go to plan. And then I did my first stand-up gig a couple of weeks after that, spurred on partly by the fact it was Joan Rivers who said, I think you've got something here. But actually the bit that's much more portable for anybody listening or watching is for a wise female elder to see something in you as a younger sort of member of the sisterhood and say, do this, and you to look at them and go, oh my goodness, yes, this is the kind of youngest I'll ever be. Why not? It was the amazing older woman giving me that advice as much as it was that it's a nice story that it happens to be a famous older woman. But actually the power of it is us listening to older women, I think.
I love that you went and did your first stand-up gig literally like a couple of weeks
I was
later.
like, well, she's dead. What we, carpe diem. And also realising, I'm now 56 and I'm so glad that an 81-year-old told me at 45 that you're still in the thick of it. And I know at 56 I'm still in the thick of it. And I know there'll be a time, whatever time it is, when I look back and go, what wouldn't I give to be 56 or 64 or 68? Because there'll be a time when we can't do everything anymore, and may that time be very far off. But as long as we can be doing it, I think it's really worth us. It's hard enough what society says about women and age, let alone us saying it about ourselves. So I think at the very least we can do is get out of our own way. There are enough other obstacles. Yeah.
And have you ever looked back, or have you literally always, like since that first stand-up gig, have you literally been like, do you know what, this is what I was born to do? This is what I'm so happy I've done this. I've never regretted doing it. I definitely have had my share of bad gigs, and I don't suppose there are many comics who'll say, oh yeah, no, I've been great at every gig. I mean, I have had my share of on-stage deaths since starting, and I will continue to have my share of them, I'm sure. It is part of the job. But I've certainly never regretted, I've never regretted doing it. It was it's irrational being a stand-up, it's something that it properly kind of calls to people to do it. It's an odd thing to do.
quite a thankless thing to do in some ways, best thing in the world in others. So no, I haven't regretted it at all, and I've certainly never. It took me some years from my first open mic gig in front of other open micers, because that's your audience to start with, to getting to the point where I was a pro comedian and then making enough of a living that I could actually jack in my day job. So it was a side hustle for many years, and again, I think that's how most people, if they do a seemingly brilliant life pivot, there's usually a bit more to it. I was the sole breadwinner and raising my kids, I couldn't not earn. So I had to get much better at my craft. So I just did it as in the evenings, as while I still was in the boardroom by day. But no regrets, no, definitely no regrets.
What would you say surprised you the most about like doing a really big career sort of pivotal turn in midlife, and how did people react when you said to them, actually I've just changed career and I'm a stand-up now and I'm 45?
I think I gave up my day job the year I turned 50, and it felt like a really nice time to do it, actually. It felt like a really good time to fully go more visible, because the world tends to tell you at that age you become less visible. And I thought, no, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to become more visible than I've ever been before. And I think in terms of how it is to sort of make that shift, it's the thing I would say, whatever the shift is, there's lots of talk of reinvention in midlife. That's not a new topic. But I think often the implication is we'll downsize, and maybe we want to, and that's absolutely fine. If there are women going, do you know what, I'm in my 50s, I can downsize and I want to, good for you, more power to your elbow. But it could be that our reinvention is the biggest thing we've done yet. And the thing I would say, and by the way, my story is not redemptive. I'm still very much a hot mess, fitting the wheels while I fly the plane, I assure you. But I am living my story, my imperfect story, not someone else's authored perfect story for midlife women. But what I would say is I've yet to meet a midlife woman who does not have fascinating stories to tell and who hasn't had a life well lived. And all those things, we're at the peak of our power in midlife. We've spent all these years learning things, hearing things, doing things. Whatever you go on to do next, even if it seems like a radical departure from what you do now, you bring everything you are and have been to date with you, and it helps you. So we have so much more in the toolkit as midlife women than we might think we do. So you bring it all with you. So you're not brand new in this new world, because you're the competent you that's done all the other things you've done. So it's everything we've got, we take with us, whatever we're doing next. So it might look like radical change, but it's still you at the heart of it. And women are always worth a lot. From the minute baby girls are born, they're worth a lot. But midlife women are especially worth a lot, I think, in society. And we should value ourselves and back ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love this.
Yeah.
Also, just on a sort of more like practical point of view as well, from a more practical point of view even, sorry, you had because you had that life experience, obviously we'll get onto this later, but you also love travelling loads.
Yeah, I love travelling.
And I bet you just had so many incredible stories to tell. Like, I can't imagine, maybe like 18 or even like maybe 21, 22, having gone through university or something, being like, I'm going to be a stand-up. Like, what stories will I have had there? Like, a few from uni, and it's like, who cares? No, not who cares, but do you know what I mean?
It's funny because there are lots of comics do start young. In fact, I'm just come here after interviewing Miles Jupp for my podcast, and he came straight out. He was at uni when he was winning comedy competitions, and he came straight out at that age. And it was interesting talking to him. He started at 20 and I started at 45. But he did, and he, I think, is just such an incredibly gifted writer and performer. But he did say that he used to be very humbled backstage because he would be there with people who were older, not probably my age if they were newcomers, but when he started doing the clubs. And he said, and they did have all this life experience, and they'd been divorced, and they'd had kids, and their dog had got run over, and all of this. And he said, they got, God forbid, but he said, that, yeah. So I think for me, partly, I think I have more material because I started later. But honestly, I was not a confident presenter or public speaker when I was young. There's absolutely nothing would have got me on stage at 20 with a microphone. And if I had, I don't think it would have gone well. It took me a really long time to find my voice and find my chops for being on stage. And I found that through my corporate life, where I used to have to present and host things, and I became more confident at it. But I was not natural at it, I would say. And I think I got into it at the time I could do it. So for me, it was as much finding my voice actually as it was having material to draw on. There's always something to talk about for a comic. But yeah, I do have some stories. That is true.
We've all had different journeys.
We've all had different journeys, and there are some really, really gifted young comics, and I actually feel doubly in awe of them because I couldn't have done it at their age, definitely.
This is probably a really annoying question that I'm sure you get asked all the time, but how do you cope, especially as a female comedian, with being heckled on stage? Because I know that you had, well, I mean, I'm sure you've been heckled, or you're heckled surely at every gig virtually, but there was a particular instance, because I've watched a video on your Instagram from last year where someone shouted at you about being a female comedian.
That women aren't funny.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, well, what I will say about hecklers is I used to do loads and loads of hosting and emceeing of comedy clubs, and that was really because I think my performance skills were better than my writing skills. So it suited me really well to MC because lots of that's crowd work. So some comedians will say that's what they find most terrifying, and others say they really like it. So I liked it. I used to do loads of it. And what you get really good at is thinking on your feet. Your jokes kind of write themselves because you're stuffed full of adrenaline and you're chatting to the crowd and things. Your brain's much more alert and creative when you're in those circumstances. And I also got good at dealing with hecklers because you're the one who's got to sort the room out for the acts to then come on. And as soon as you realise, and again, I think you can apply this to life as well, no one wants the heckler to win. So they want the person on the stage to have the last word, not the heckler. And that's what they're engaged with. And if you can manage to do that, you've really got the room on your side. So it's a really good opportunity to show who's boss. And you're the one with the microphone. You know, you do have the status and the power. So once I realised that, and also I think maybe my age and gender don't go against me in that regard. Because if there's a 22-year-old guy on a stag do, like shouting stuff at me, first of all, I'm probably older than his mother, and it just makes him look, it's just very undignified for him to do that. So I feel like I'm just like, this is just a bit pathetic, you know, and it just, I think it really helps because I feel very sort of like, yeah, give it your best shot. So I don't mind heckles. I think it helps me set the room up and it gives me a few brownie points. But that particular one, it's the trope that women aren't funny. By the way, it's not just men who think that. If anything, I've heard that more from women than men. So I don't want to be too gendered about things, but this is a topic of gender. But this idea that women aren't funny, and it's still believed by lots of people, regardless of how they identify on a gender basis. But it doesn't normally get said out loud. So yeah, I got onto the stage. It was one of the massive London clubs, late night show, hundreds of people, very drunk atmosphere. And I hadn't said anything. I literally hadn't even got the mic out of the stand. And a bloke said, "It's a shame women aren't funny," top of his lungs. So I had to make that the first thing I addressed. So I said, "Can I just ask you, sir, before we get started, why do you think women aren't funny?" And he honestly said this. He said, "Because you just do rubbish jokes about periods and stuff like that." And I said, "Do you know, sir, I can't believe that you think that I am young enough to have periods." So we were up, we were running.
Good.
And then there was an older woman in the front row, and I said, "Periods." I said, "Do you remember them?" Bit of nostalgia comedy to start us off. So again, and actually, he actually did come up to me at the end of the night. He came to the stage door and asked if he could speak to me, and he apologised and said, "I'm banged to rights. That was a brilliant gig. And because of you, I will now know that women aren't funny." And I said, "Well, it's lovely you've said that." I said, "But can I just say, if you open your eyes and ears, there are hundreds and thousands of reasons to know women are funny. I thank you for thinking I'm one, but there are loads of us." It's not like, "Oh, I was a funny one of those women comedians."
Cally Beaton.
Yeah, exactly. The
only funny woman.
Exactly. I did have it at a gig at the weekend where afterwards I came out and I was trying to plug my tour show and I had my flyers and I was in the pub garden walking through, you know, leaving the building, and these lovely women at a table were like, "We loved you. We thought we come here every month and you're the funniest comedian there's been." And then another one went, "No, we said she's the funniest woman comedian there's been." And they went, "Oh yeah, funniest woman." So I took that to be, I mean, it could mean that they know women are much funnier, which means I'm absolutely the funniest. The top of the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%.
I suspect that's not what they meant. No. So there you are, funniest female comedian, funniest woman comedian. Gosh. That club had ever seen.
Put that on your CV.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Okay, that's good.
So yeah, what a relief.
What a relief.
Yeah.
I know obviously a lot of women speak about losing confidence during the menopause. How have you found that you've been able to kind of just be your lovely confident self?
I think that the menopause, it is a change. It used to be called coyly the change, didn't it? And I'm glad we don't call it the change anymore. But whatever way you look at it, it is a change. And you're losing some things, and you might not be sad to lose some of them. You know, I don't much miss having periods, but I sort of feel like it's like a wedding you don't want to go to. You'd like to be the one to choose not to go, rather than your body saying you're not invited anymore. So it's a weird.
That's the best thing ever.
It's a weird thing that you get told now that, you know, you've shut up shop. I think that it's not, I don't just think, I know it has taken me until I'm in my 50s to find my authentic voice. And I'm very lucky that it's all coincided with a new career, which is all about my voice and what I want to say. And I'm very lucky that I now have a platform to say it on, although you obviously fight hard to get that. I wasn't given the platform. You work hard to get it. And for me, it has been about, I think, probably caring less about what people think. So I don't feel the need to be a people pleaser in the way that women my age were brought up to in the 60s and 70s. Little girls were meant to be nice little girls, and we were often brought up to please. Obviously, I'd like to please some of my audience when I'm doing something live, but I'm not writing, whether it's a book, stand-up, anything else, I'm not writing thinking what's going to give me mass appeal here, what's going to make me popular. I write what I would like to hear, or what I would like to read. That's what I write, and that's what I read. So that's what I write for people in books as well. So I think it is about, it's about daring to have our own voice and realising that perhaps when we're younger, we think we've got to be like everyone around us. I want to be like that person I admire. You know, I love listening to Michelle Obama. I think I should be a speaker like Michelle Obama. Well, the world's got Michelle Obama, and thank goodness we have. So if I want to be a speaker, it's probably good for me to not be exactly the same, not least because I wouldn't be capable of being quite as incredible as she is. So I think it's about realising that what the world doesn't need is an identikit version of another woman. They need us not to be the same as everyone around us. And I think once we realise that different does not mean less, and we're not less than just because we don't feel the same as, that's very liberating. And I don't know about you, but the women and indeed people across the board I most admire are the people who are really out there loud and proud with all their imperfections. They don't look perfect, they aren't perfect. Those are the people who give me joy. And I think when we realise that, well, how lovely, we can bring our own imperfect selves into midlife, and that's a lucky old world if we're there to do it. Yeah.
Who was the woman that wrote Fleabag? What, remind me of
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yeah. I'm sure we've all seen this. I'm sure you will have seen
the
this,
menopause
Cally.
soliloquy with Kristen Scott Thomas.
I wasn't going to say that. Oh, yes, the menopause soliloquy with Kristen Scott Thomas.
Which I couldn't get clearance for my book. I was desperate to have it in my book. That's why I know her name, because we've emailed her about 5 times a day for the last 3 months, but we couldn't get permission.
Gosh.
She never said no, we just couldn't get hold of her.
Oh, what a bummer.
Yes, but what were you going to say?
No, I was only going to say, there's a clip, yes, of course, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yeah. There's a clip of her accepting an award that's gone viral over all the social media platforms, which is her thanking her mum.
Yes, I loved that. I know that clip. And her mum looking very self-deprecating.
Her mum looked very self-deprecating in the crowd. And her mum said to her, and she says, I want to thank my mum who, when I was little, said to me, if you're going to be anything, be outrageous.
Yes, I loved it.
And it's just the best thing and most inspiring thing ever.
I've got goosebumps, you're saying, look, proper goosebumps. Yeah, I actually have got, I've actually got goosebumps.
Yeah. So I love that. It's like, let's be more, and it's not just, when you're little in life, in midlife. Yeah, be outrageous.
Absolutely, and not be told and not be told we're a nuisance. I think why should we feel we're a nuisance if we're not what everyone's telling us to be? And I think other women appreciate each. We for anyone who feels invisible in midlife, we are certainly not invisible to each other. I would like to think we're not invisible to the world. And the absolute utter joy of the show I'm doing at the moment that is about midlife womanhood. Lots of my audience are midlife women, plenty aren't, but lots are. And every single show I have multiple conversations that I will just be thankful. If that's all I went to the venue to do, is to just hear those women tell me their stories, either when I ask them when I'm on stage or when we talk afterwards. That would be time well spent. So what a gift. And life seems to just keep getting better. The women in my audiences who are in their 60s seem to be full of more joy and hope even than the women in their 50s. It just seems to keep, the happiness curve seems to be a real thing, and it just seems to keep going up, up, up. So there's a lot of hope that comes with it, even though menopause itself is pretty wretched in many ways. I've suffered as much as the next person with it in many ways, but it does bring opportunity. Yeah.
I know you already have a podcast, right? Sorry, this is just literally a thought that's just come to me right now. I know you already have a podcast, but have you ever thought about recording some of the conversations with these women after your show, just
after
ad hoc, and then
shows.
having another podcast?
That's a good
idea.
idea.
It's like a show podcast.
And it would save me having to do research of my guests, book my guests, turn up to
exactly.
record.
Yeah.
I'm doing it anyway, aren't I?
You're doing it anyway.
So just record it.
Just press record on your phone.
Yes.
And then get someone to edit it all.
That's my producer Mike.
Well,
Producer Mike will do anything for me. I love producer Mike. Yeah.
There we go.
That's exactly. Sorry, producer Mike.
Thank you.
I mean, for a fee. No one exploit producer
and not
Mike.
anything.
He's very
within reason.
Exactly. Only professional things.
Of course.
Yes.
So recently, you have. Well, I think recently, in the last couple of years, you've revisited a hobby that you found when you were very little. And how are you still? I mean, tell us what it is first of all, and are you still doing it, and how's it all going?
Yes, so it's the piano, and the reason I learnt the piano as a little child is because I was educated in a boys' school, which is where my parents taught, and my superpower was to find a thing that I could do that meant in break times and sometimes in sports times, because I was doing boys' sports, I could do another thing. So if you were really good at music, you were encouraged to spend lots of your spare time playing your musical instrument. So it was really a fairly cynical thing that got me into first playing the piano, because I thought, I want to be able to go and use the music rooms and not have to be with boys all the time. So I became a pretty good pianist because I was playing for hours a day. Kind of weird way to grow up in a boys' school playing the piano on your own in a soundproof box. It might explain why I've become a stand-up in later life. But so I did become exactly. I just give me a voice for God's sake and take me out of a soundproof booth. So
ironic.
Exactly, it's very traumatic.
It's triggering.
Very triggering. Yeah. So I became a good pianist as a child. Played, and by the age of 11, 12, was a grade 8 pianist and was pretty good. And then for various reasons, mainly that I went to a school that was co-educational. And suddenly I was like, I don't need to be in a soundproof box. I can talk to humans. I played less. So I had a 40-year hiatus in playing the piano. And then this is, very name droppy after having already dropped Joan Rivers' name. But Alistair McGowan, who certainly older people listening and watching will know, very famous impressionist and comedian, 20 years ago, and still very talented guy out there. We did a charity benefit together, and we'd never met before, but we're similar age. So I did my bit on stage, and I came off, and he said, "How have we never met? We're the same age, ish." I said, because I've only just got into doing this. I said, I had a big old midlife reinvention. He said, me too. I said, what's yours? And he said, I'm a concert pianist. I said, you've gone from being an impressionist? He said, yeah. Anyway, then he said, he basically invited me to a celebrity piano concert that was happening in Ludlow, where he lives, and said, would you like to play at the celebrity piano concert? He said, no one's a pianist. But come and play. And I said, no, I cannot tell you how much I'm not a pianist. I said, I used to play, told him I used to play, but, haven't played for 40 years. And he said, well, come along and watch. So I went and watched this celebrity concert at the Ludlow Piano Festival and just sat looking at these people who aren't pianists but could all play a bit at least. And I thought, next year I'm going to be good enough to do this. I'm going to start piano lessons. So I started piano lessons, and a year later, which was this May, I played at the Ludlow Piano Festival.
You did?
I did.
Oh my gosh, Cally.
Not perfectly, but I did play.
Doesn't matter.
No, it didn't. Well, it probably did to the people who paid good money to be there. But to me, exactly.
Who cares?
I started on entirely the wrong note and then thought, I can't carry on in that key because I can't transpose the whole of Debussy to the wrong key. So I was like, well, I'll start there and then we'll go somewhere it's meant to be, and at some point we may end. So it was, but it was done with feeling.
That's amazing.
So I've got the most wonderful piano teacher, and I still have piano lessons. And there may be, for anyone who comes to see my tour show, there may be a little, maybe not so surprised now.
Okay.
A little postscript that people might not be expecting.
But maybe also expecting now.
Maybe also expecting.
Congratulations.
So yes, I am playing.
Well done.
Yeah, and it's really quite a joyous thing at 56 to be almost as good at something as I was when I was 11. It's really good. Almost.
Come full circle.
Not quite as good, but I'm getting there.
Yeah,
and I'm much better at talking to boys now than I was then.
Well done.
I'm really good at that. Really very good. Yeah, really
that's
quite
amazing.
skilled.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Thank
I
you.
really wanted to find that out.
Yes, so I'm loving it.
Yeah, that you really wanted to perform, and
yeah,
here we are.
and a purchase that means a lot to me was that we got a second hand Bechstein piano. Me and my daughter went to do. We did have an upright piano at home, but a very sort of cheap, rubbishy one that the kids had learnt to play a little bit. My daughter is actually a pretty good pianist now, and we went to choose a new old piano, and the two of us went to this magical Victorian second-hand piano warehouse, and they just let us play for the afternoon. We played all these pianos, including sort of 200 grand pianos that we weren't, as in £200,000 pianos that we were not in the market for. They let us just play, and we played all afternoon, and then we picked one that was a beaten up old Bechstein, much cheaper.
Yeah.
But I've now got a beautiful old Bechstein upright at home on which I play.
That is so lovely.
Yeah, really lovely.
Are you one of these people that at train stations you would just be like, oh, I've got half an hour to spare, I'm just going to treat everyone to a bit of Debussy?
I don't, but my daughter, who used to be so shy and so wouldn't play at school in concerts, and she now will do that. But she plays lovely sort of popular sort of class, like I now do that sort of thing. She will play in public places. No, I'm more like I need my music book. I need to have got myself in the zone.
Your soundproof
I'm
booth.
very sort of rigid.
Yeah, fine.
I'm a rigid creative. Right. It's like, don't ask me to do anything spontaneous.
Creative, but within boundaries.
Yeah, I've just got to have planned to be brilliant. Then maybe.
Yeah. Congratulations, it's really
Thank
exciting.
you.
I know that you absolutely love travelling.
I do, yes.
And obviously with travelling come situations where we've been thrust into different situations, different time zones, different experiences. Have you ever been in a situation whilst travelling where you've been like, how have I got here?
Well, this one might put people off their tea. I think the worst travel story, I mean, I've ended up in lots of odd places, not least because my son is a zookeeper and he's always been primate obsessed. So the trips, we spent our whole life going around sort of zoos, but as he got older, he was desperate to go on much more adventurous sort of holidays. So we've done...
He's obsessed with a particular monkey, and I can't remember
Bonobo ape.
A bonobo ape.
Yeah, yes,
Right.
and they're only to be found in the Congo. That's the only place they're found in the wild.
Okay.
But we've seen those not many, because they're not in many, but in zoos and other sort of wildlife refuges and stuff. But no, we've gone to some far-flung places with him, and they're not glamorous places. So you'll be watching some obscure mating ritual of a mandrill at 3 a.m. because he got us behind-the-scenes access. And I'm like...
BTS.
Yes, and I'm
got
like,
the lanyard.
yeah, I'm like, oh, it's quite like I don't mind access all areas. I've just got like a flat white and a croissant, if that's all right, and a good night's sleep. So I've had a lot of quite, they're quite and also when we do travel together, we're quite often mistaken for he's 28, but he's a sort of bearded 6'4" guy. People quite often mistake us for a couple.
Oh no!
And that's awful for everyone concerned.
Oh gosh,
they'll be like, "Would you not like to share a Lima canopy 4-poster honeymoon?" We're like, no, we're fine. Please don't put any rose petals on either of our beds.
Oh God!
So we've had so there's a lot of uncomfortable mum-son stuff. But the worst travel thing I ever had was I used to fly in the front of planes when I was in boardrooms. Now, obviously, I'm at the back of megabuses because I'm a comedian. But I did have luxurious years, which I always knew I was borrowing. You're never your job title. You're always borrowing your job title, aren't you? I always knew I didn't really belong in the front of planes. But in the front of one plane, I'd been in the, I won't say which airline because what I'm going to say doesn't reflect well on them. Okay. But I was in the first class lounge of said airline, eating free food before I got on the plane. I was flying to New York, which is obviously about a 7-hour flight, just long enough for food poisoning to kick in if you've eaten something in the lounge.
No!
So I, as we were coming into land in New York, thought things are not well with me, and I really very urgently need to go to a bathroom. And the staff on the plane, as you know, when the plane's coming into land, I said, I'm really going to need to go to the toilet. And they said, no, the toilets are locked and you can't go. And I said, well, I'm either going to go to the toilet here or I'm going to go to the toilet in the toilet. And they said, we're not. And I said, well, yes. I went to the toilet.
You didn't?
Full toilet in first class. Yes, in first class on a very glamorous aircraft, in the glamorous bit of the glamorous aircraft.
Oh my God,
I actually full toileted.
Oh my gosh, Cally.
Full toileted. And then, because I was at the front of the plane, obviously I didn't get up till everyone had got off the plane, but everyone had to go past me because I was at the front of the plane.
Was it obvious or was it just
I would say
pretty?
Fairly obvious.
Right, okay.
Yes. Fairly obvious. And as soon as we landed, they did unlock the bathroom for me to go in. That's nice of them. Which was very much too late.
Right.
And I didn't have anything and I had to be, I got very ill, like it was properly quite extreme food poisoning. I was so ill, not just with shame, I had to be taken off the plane in a wheelchair.
No, you didn't.
Covered in my own mess. and also a woman approaching. I mean, I really was an invisible and not invisible enough woman all at once. Yes, I properly.
Is horrific.
It really was horrific. Yeah, it was horrific.
Oh my word!
But it is in my book, and it did make it into my stand-up.
Yeah,
obviously.
I'm not surprised,
I mean, if
obviously.
it didn't,
that's why. Yeah, that's why you are now.
That's really why I had to become a stand-up. It wasn't Joan Rivers. It was like I actually need to just tell someone that story, and it'd be acceptable.
Oh my word. Well, hang on. Can I ask? Were you sat next to other people, or were you first class? You were in like a little private.
It was
booth?
the private booth first class,
fine.
but the private. And everyone will know what airline it is if I say this. If they've ever walked through that bit, it's a private one where you're all sort of diagonally facing each other.
Okay.
So you're in a sort of diagonal pod with a compulsory row of people looking at you, because all your diagonal pods are looking at all their diagonal pods. So about 20 very rich, privileged people were lucky enough to see this whole thing unfold.
Oh my gosh.
And the good news is at the time I had absolutely no profile. There was no chance anyone was going to say, I follow you on Instagram. So,
you got a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Luckily, I was just an anonymous pooing woman. Yeah, so
I think I would have just asked for a glass of champagne and just owned it.
I think at that point I was still so ill. Like it was actually still properly, like it was still all going on.
That is really bad.
I would say it was about 12 hours later before I could have even thought about a glass of fizzy water, let alone.
Oh my God.
I properly was in, even when I got as far as the hotel, I thought, I think I'm going to end up in hospital with this. Like, I was really ill.
What was it you ate?
It was something with egg in it. And
you can never trust egg.
Yeah, never trust an egg.
Never
trust a vegan. Do trust a vegan. Don't trust a vegetarian. The vegans are right. They wouldn't have the egg, would they?
No, they wouldn't have the egg at all.
Yeah,
or the mayo.
Exactly.
Actually, can they have mayo? No. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course,
exactly.
more egg.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nightmare.
So if you've got any vegan products you're trying to pitch and you want to clip this up,
thank you.
Vegan sandals.
Yes, there we go. Oh my word, I'm glad you've recovered. You're better now. Good.
Well, I'm better, but obviously dignity. It's taking about 10 years, still coming. I'm still building it back up.
Great.
So because you were expecting like a broken sun lounger, weren't you? Not full.
Well, I have been there. I've been in a similar situation, but more it's out the other end, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
On a plane.
Yes.
But the same thing happened to me. I was on my way to Sri Lanka.
It's good we weren't together.
Yeah, I know that would have been really nice, really supportive actually. But no, basically the same thing happened. And I was on my way to see my best friend in Sri Lanka. I'd never flown long haul in my life. I'm quite an anxious person. I was very anxious, and I was sat between it. Weirdly, I don't know why did I book a middle seat, Cally? Why?
Oh, never book a middle seat.
Stupid.
Yes.
I was that real naivety back then. Anyway, and I was between these lovely Norwegian blokes, all very attractive, and it was very sad.
Attractive.
And then they served the meal, which was a paneer curry. Can I add a paneer curry? And I was just I'm a very anxious person, and I said I'm not well, and I really need the little bag under the seat. And they said, I said I need to get up, and they said you can't get up because we just served the meal. And I said, well, same as you.
Yeah.
Either it's on the meal or it's in the loo. And they said it's going to have to be on the meal, and it was on the meal. Yeah, it was horrible. Anyway,
so you're well known in Norway, aren't you? They're still talked about in Norwegian folklore.
Exactly. Norwegian folklore. Very attractive men, but very sadly, no, never.
And yet you've still managed to get married. So
yes,
well done.
Thank God, not to one of them. That would have been a really good story.
Exactly.
But no, sadly not. He's not Wolves. He's from Wolverhampton, but it was a bit different.
You tried Norway.
I really tried, but no, it failed.
You blew it.
Failed at that. No, West Midlands. It's all good. So because of your travels, I'm assuming I've got this like vision of your house being full of fridge magnets. You know, I don't know, penis bottle openers.
Just full of penis.
Just full of penis. Penis novelty bottle openers. I should have said.
Yes.
Souvenirs from your travels.
No, actually,
really?
No souvenirs. I think because I live part of the time in Amsterdam.
Yes.
So I'm like very sniffy about the penis balloons and the things one sees over there, because I'm like, oh, you're ruining our lovely city.
Yeah.
So no, we don't have many. I think probably there are quite a lot of Dutch influenced things in the house because I've spent lots of my time over there and my kids are half Dutch. So there's, some Delft, proper like nice tulip vases.
Love those.
Love a tulip vase, the ones of
with
which
the little holes.
Yes.
You've got lots of little holes. Yeah. Tulip in every
and
hole.
over there, I mean, the ones they have over there are just
phenomenal.
more tulips than we can imagine, which you would know being a horticultural person. So no, I do love. So the things I have in the house that are memories of travels. So I've been to Iceland a couple of times, and I wrote a show about a car crash I had in Iceland in a snowstorm. So I've got a beautiful black sort of pebble from a remote Icelandic beach the day after I'd survived that that and things. I've got things that mean loads to me, but if you came into my house, you would know there was some Dutch stuff going on, but not a lot of other international memorabilia in
So
the
you
house.
don't go away and then think, oh, I need to buy something to remember this time.
Not really, no. I used to always, for the kids, because I was travelling, I always travelled for work when the kids were little, so I've always had a sort of international telly job. And now, obviously, I've got another job which involves travel. So I did always think I'd buy something for the kids, but it was always sort of to order, and it was not what you might. So, you know, my son would be like, I'd really like a toy figurine of a, you know, of whatever, a meerkat, Bonobo ape, and I'd be like, great, well, I'm going to Las Vegas to a convention. I'll see what I can find. So I was always, it was like a sort of really weird game show where I'd be trying to find some odd thing that had nothing to do with the place. Everyone else would be like, you know, I'm going to go to Stars and Stripes, you know, whatever. And I'd be like, well, I'm after a sort of, you know, stuffed armadillo with a magnet in its snout, quite specific. So the stuff I would bring back was really much more specific to my odd and much loved children than it was to the place concerned.
Okay.
So yeah, no, not really. I'm not really a kind of crazy buy the thing in the place person.
What about shopping in general? What do you like to shop for? Are you like a clothes person? Do you like books? Do you like
I love
wine
books.
glasses?
I love the smell of books, and I love bookshops. And when my book was, I went to the printing press where my book was printed, which apparently is very rare that you get to do that. I was like very lucky, and mine was printed in this country in a lovely old Suffolk printing place.
That's amazing.
It was amazing.
How wholesome and wonderful.
Really wholesome, and the smell of that printing press, and it just made me think, oh, all I want to do is be in bookshops and be with books and things. So I do love books, and I love buying books, and I like physical books. I also love audiobooks, but I do like a physical book. I don't buy many, so I don't do much clothes shopping of new clothing, but I love vintage and charity clothes shopping. I get immense joy from going into particularly charity shops, particularly in fancy parts of fancy cities.
Well, yeah, have you been to the Chiswick charity shops?
No, but I bet they're good.
Oh my word.
The Hampstead ones are good.
QVC, by the way, in case you're watching this and you don't know, it's based in Chiswick in West London.
I bet they're good, those
when
charity
I get a gap
shops.
between my two shows, Cally, honestly,
yes.
My mum comes to meet me. We have a whole day out.
It's the
just
nicest
doing the
thing.
charity shop. It's the best thing.
Apart from the ones in Hampstead, which is near where I live. I don't live in Hampstead, I live just down the hill. But in Hampstead, they have worked out how to price the very nice things accordingly. So you will get an amazing thing, but not for a tenner.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're still going to charge you 80 quid for this dress that would have been 400. And fair enough, because it would have been 400. So I do love a charity shop, but not always the fancy ones. So my daughter and I love going vintage clothes shopping. She lives in Madrid. And I just love going around all the vintage shops in other places. So whenever we go anywhere, we'll go to like a flea market in Paris or the ones in Amsterdam when we're there or whatever. We like a flea market vintagey experience shopping wise. I'm not a massive clothes shopper beyond that. So I actually have to make myself buy clothes if I know I've got lots of appearances coming up, or like when I did House of Games and they make you bring quite a lot of outfits and you need 5 obviously for the 5 shows, but you're meant to bring like 8 in case someone else is wearing the same. I was thinking 8? I don't think I've got 5 outfits that I'd wear on television. That's really pushing it. I definitely don't have 8. But I do like the only sort of decadent thing that I buy, which is I'm embarrassed about how much I spend on it, is I do love beauty products. I'm not a big fan of anything that's talking about anti-aging. I don't like that. I don't know why it should have to be anti-aging, but I do like nurturing my skin. So I think some skin products can make you feel pretty good. So I love, not even so much makeup, actual creams and balms, and I'm a big
under
on
eye
all of that. Under eye, over eye,
yes,
in the eye if you're a bit sleepy.
Yeah, in the eye. Yeah, just up
all
the nose,
of that,
wherever.
all of it. Exactly. We're not up the nose, obviously.
Okay,
we're not those kind of
people.
Yeah,
we're not. It's not like a podcast.
It's not, exactly.
No. That was back in the
day.
day.
Exactly.
Not for me,
it's not
actually,
the 90s. No, nor me, because we've got books to sell. Exactly. But I do like I do really like a good product, and there's the smell of a nice sort of even that sort of hand wash or a hand
posh
cream.
Soap. You're a posh soap.
I like a posh soap. I like a nice cream that smells nice on my skin. It doesn't always have to be expensive. Sometimes they smell beautiful when they're not expensive. But I'm quite susceptible to those things. And if I take a long time to get ready, it is not because of how long my makeup takes, as may be apparent. It's because of how long I spend. I just love...
You have got marvellous skin.
Oh, have I?
Oh, gosh. Like, when you came in, I was like, you have got that glow from within that people talk about that I don't know how people achieve.
It'll cost you that glow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's really
I do love a facial sort of moisturising I like embalming myself.
You do.
I'm just getting
Embalming,
ready.
You're just getting ready, just preparing. That's why you're dressed in black.
I'm absolutely
You're
ready.
for the funeral.
Whatever comes my way. Although I do wonder, all women my age, we're all wearing these HRT estrogen patches on our bottoms or other parts of ourselves. And I do think, I intend to stay on my HRT until my last breath. And I do think they're going to have to work that out, aren't they, when they cremate us? Because there'll be a time when everyone's got adhesive patches on their skin, and what are we going to do with them? What's going to happen?
Can't they just be...
Peel them off?
Well, can't they just stay on you? They're part of you.
Well, I know, but can they be burnt? I don't know. We'll have to be thinking about that.
That's true, actually.
There's going to be a whole thing. I think people need to be thinking about this.
But surely, like, on this subject...
Or will the undercators just be peeling off the patches? Because they're very adhesive.
Yeah, but also, polyester can't be burnt, can it? 'Cause that's like a plastic.
No, which is hard. So
surely
old people of old would have been in polyester, and the old people of new are in their estrogen patches.
They're in their estrogen patches.
So yeah, I feel there's probably, if anyone wants an invention that might
that's a new
be
job
valuable.
role. That one that AI will escape. Because a robot cannot be peeling off estrogen patches.
Well, it probably can't it?
Yeah,
and maybe it should.
Yeah, maybe it should.
Maybe it's only fair.
What sort of skincare things are we talking then? Because I am the biggest skincare person literally ever.
I love retinols, things like that. I'm big on my retinols, ferulic acid, all of those type of things. All the things that now everyone's using, but the minute there was any whiff of this might be a useful thing to do. And I don't know whether it's about youthening our skin, but it's just caring for our skin. When you think what our faces and our skin goes through, like the last thing I do at night before I get, which shows you how boring my life is now, rock and roll no more. Before I sit with a good book and the cat on my knee in bed with a herbal tea.
Oh, Cally, we live the same life.
Yeah, it's so nice.
I love this.
Oh, I'd just like to do that all the time, which
great.
I believe we could do. It's called retirement, but we'll do it. But what I do, I love a cuticle oil, so I always put a cuticle oil on, dab that on, bit of hand cream before I go to bed. I just want my face and my hands and sometimes even my feet to just be moisturised.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
I just want to feel all glorious and moisturised. The only downside is my cat will sometimes, there's certain, if I put on, I've got a sort of coconutty smelling hand and body cream. If I put that on, the cat will start to lick me in a way that is odd. I'm like, I don't want to be in bed being licked by my cat. I sometimes think, do you think I'm dead already? You know, how cats eat their owners. I'm like, I'm not dead yet. I'm just quiet.
Calm down, Crystal.
I'm just reading a good book. So yes, but I love it. I love anything that sort of moisturises and smells nice and nurtures and brightens.
Yeah, okay.
It just feels good.
Vitamin C, big vitamin C.
Vitamin C, yeah. Caffeine under the eye, caffeine gel under the eye stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm just doing this
without
just talking and saying anything. I moisturised my neck this morning because of you.
Yeah, well, you need to do, yes, and you need to do...
that was a bit of advice you gave
someone.
Nipples to neck.
Nipples to neck.
Nipples to neck. Yeah, I don't do that. I just did neck, but I will start doing from nipples to neck.
My last bit of life advice in my book is moisturise your neck.
Moisturise your neck.
A bit vacuous, but important.
No, very important. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you, just final question on the beauty stuff, have you got one of the LED masks?
No.
Right, Cally.
I feel like someone should just be foraging about in cupboards, bringing me these things.
No, I'm sure this is a thing
I need to have a.
We sell. Yeah. So I've got
hair straighteners. If you've got any hair straighteners kicking about, So Elemis and Lizelle.
Oh, don't.
Yeah,
I didn't. At home.
I didn't even know that they were ones we were supposed to be saying we liked. I do like.
We love.
Yeah.
We love.
Well, I sincerely do love.
Yes.
Yeah.
The orange blossom Lizelle one.
Yes.
What's it called?
Yes.
It's got a fancier name.
The smell, but the smell of that.
Oh.
You see, I was avoiding brands in case they weren't QVC compliant.
Oh no!
Seems I am QVC
they are
compliant.
All, look, you are
look
Mrs.
at me.
QVC.
I'm just naturally very compliant.
The LED masks. So I have one from this brand called Style Pro, and it is really good value, by the way, and absolutely brilliant.
For me, especially because I want one free after this.
Yeah, of course. Well, for you, it's just no value.
Lots of value, but no expense.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's absolutely
What do you
brilliant.
do with it then?
So you literally, so it's a flexible one, which I like because it's not too heavy and it's
everything
not too
needs to be
flexible,
flexible,
and it doesn't push on your face. And then you just plug it into the remote thing, and you just switch it on. And because I have this problem, as a lot of us,
so it's not like UV.
No, it's no. It's what is it? LED. Thank you. Yeah. Of course,
very
it's like
different.
UV and LED, like when you go to get your nails done.
Yeah.
You go to get your nails done. Yeah. So it's you have the red light, which is I'm not sure what can we say. I don't know what the rules are.
Are they
but
ones for your like mood and stuff?
No, it's not for your mood.
I'm telling you what it isn't.
The red.
Is it a sun
basically,
lamp?
you're talking about all things it doesn't do.
Yeah.
No, it basically promotes skin It promotes skin, Cally. That's what it does.
I've got skin.
Skin health. It promotes it. That's what it does. Yeah. So there's a blue light mode, there's a red light mode, and there's a double mode, and then there's like a. But for me,
and you get to look like you're in a space age movie.
Exactly.
Oh, this
but
is good.
It's good because it's very hard to look at your phone whilst you're wearing it.
Yes.
And I have this thing where, like, because I'm freelance, as you are
I'm
probably freelance, I'm constantly just 10 o'clock at night, and I'm still emailing, and I'm still very stressed, and I'm trying to read my book, but I'm not because I've and you put it on 10 minutes. And it's like your downtime. You have to do it on bare skin, and then you take it off. I do my skincare, I read my book, and that is my evening routine.
Could you be listening to something while you're doing it? So I could be doing my meditation at the same time.
Yes, it's perfect.
Oh, I could be busy. I could make myself busy while I'm meditating.
The only thing you can't do with it, which I have tried and failed, is drink your herbal tea.
No.
Because you have a tiny little mouth hole, and if you find it dribbles down your chin,
I feel
and
this
you feel
is
a bit like
a health and safety disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, don't try that.
Don't do that.
No.
But I would recommend.
Okay, brilliant. And the cat won't be able to lick me when I'm under
the cat won't be able to lick you.
Well, lick my
and
arms.
I have this issue as well. My cat sucks me occasionally.
Yes, a bit. Yeah.
Does Crystal do this to you?
No.
They're sort of.
Oh, like they're trying to get milk.
Yeah, but he will do it. Like, it's a bit weird. I have this very fluffy purple dressing gown that I've had for 30
do it
years,
on the dressing gown.
and he literally does it. But he also kind of does it around the breast area.
Yeah.
And I haven't got children, so this is a very new sensation.
Yes,
for me.
I think you breastfeeding your cat is what's come out of this.
Weird.
We thought mine was the headline with the exploding hair straighteners, but we'd seen nothing yet.
I feel like it's very strange. But anyway, I think Crystal and Pablo would get on.
I think they would.
Yeah, they would get on.
I feel we've lived quite parallel lives with the problems on planes, the cats licking and sucking us.
We're basically the same person.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Your little dog Jeff, which obviously we've talked about Crystal, your cat. We love lovely Jeff. And as I've mentioned, I have my cat Pablo. Yeah. Have you ever bought Jeff a toy or an item or something a bit weird that you've been like, oh, I love this for Jeff, but he's not enjoyed it?
Well, he sort of. So I do buy. I do quite like I like him in a little coat in the winter, but I think he likes that because he doesn't like getting a wet undercarriage.
Oh no.
He did get a tick on his undercarriage, and I had to take him to the vet to have it removed because I can get ticks off him because they do have ticks on hamster teeth, but I could not get this off this area of my dog. He was having none of it. I had to take him to the vet to get
Wait, did you try to take
I
it
did
off
try,
him?
and he was like, "I trust you, but no way."
Oh,
and fair
goodness.
enough. Yes, I did.
All feels a bit
So
personal,
that was all a bit
intimate.
personal.
Yeah.
So apart from that,
Okay.
So actually another weird thing I bought recently are tick removers because I thought I need tick removers now because apparently it's a hazard of the job of a sausage dog because they've got a low sausage. So apparently it's not unheard of. So yeah, he's only just forgiven me for that. But how did we get onto that? Because he's normally such a happy dog.
Can I ask you about this, right? Because a tick remover, right, this is even weirder because I've also recently just bought a tick remover.
Yes.
And it looks like a credit card but with a hole in it.
Yes.
The same thing?
Yes.
Like it's got a slip down it, doesn't it?
Yes.
So did you have to swipe his undercarriage?
I couldn't swipe or it ended up being contactless because I had to take him to the vet.
Oh, of course.
Yes, but the vet did say, here's a little fun hack for anybody watching or listening. That if it's on a delicate area that you might not be able to address, I probably could have done it if there'd been someone else there, but a one person holding their dog and de-ticking a willy, it was a lot to do.
Yeah, of course.
But apparently spraying it with a spray that is an anti-tick spray.
Right.
If you do that, the tick will just die and fall off in it will die pretty soon and fall off in a couple of days. So I could have just sprayed him with that, but I didn't know that.
Like a verruca.
Yes. Yeah, yes. So I did, but anyway, so the tick removers are something I bought that Jeff didn't enjoy, but was quite useful. It will be useful. But the things that Jeff has, which are really, which I think, my son is all about enrichment for animals, by which we mean, and lots of people will know this, you make it harder for them to get their food. So animals in zoos have what they call enrichment. So their food will be put in something complicated. So they have to keep solving problems like they would in the wild to get their food. So it's not cruel, it's a really stimulating thing. It keeps them active and happy. So I'm really big on enrichment for my dog because of my son. So he has to work hard for his kibble.
So where do you push it?
You can buy these amazing enrichment toys for dogs. So they're like the equivalent of making him do a Rubik's Cube to get a piece of kibble. So lots of his food is out of really complicated puzzles and things where he has to tap things and do things.
Oh my gosh.
So there's lots of enrichment toys, but he does love them. He gets a bit, he likes doing them. I'm pretty sure he does. So he has those, but he's also got a dog water fountain, which is really fun, and he loves that. Although the cat sometimes takes the water fountain. But my daughter said there are dog ball pits. So you buy a ball pit like toddlers would go in with loads of ball, and the dog has its own ball pit.
Really?
So I feel like maybe I'll get him a new bikini and a ball pit and a ball pit.
To cover his tick wound.
Exactly, to cover and protect from future tick wounds.
Yeah, of course.
He'll look like Borat.
Yeah, that's what he wears in the summer. He's got his coat in the winter.
He's got his neon bikini and
he's
he's
got
just
tweed
chilling
for
and tweed for winter and just chilling in the ballpark. So yes, but I do. So we do buy lots of enrichment toys for him to eat out of, and yeah, you can tell I'm a hop and a skip off the dog ball.
I love this. This is amazing. I didn't know that these enrichment toys. I thought you just set challenges around the home, like you put it in the washing machine one day.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
put the dog in the washing machine.
Jeff's like suddenly in the washing machine.
That's just
you're
brain
like, there
fog.
you go. He's got the kibble.
So I put the dog in the washing machine, and I've taken the duvet for a walk.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's they're actual proper. There's one in particular. One, I think she might even be Norwegian, a Scandinavian woman who has a brand of these amazing. Yeah, she does these amazing enrichment toys, and they're like different level ones. So Jeff's very sophisticated. Yeah.
Can I just say that I love the phrase enrichment
It's
toys.
good, isn't it?
I want an enrichment toy.
I feel, if anything, it would also slow me down. If someone made me work a bit harder for my food, I'm just like, right, well, there's some food. I'll just go face down in it. Also, because sausage dogs, Dachshunds are very greedy. So, you've got to slow him down. All his food, at a minimum, is in a bowl with things that make it hard for him to get to the food, at a minimum, because he eats like you ate on that plane.
Yeah.
He eats with ill-advised taste.
Right, fine. Okay, yes.
You needed an enrichment toy.
I needed an enrichment toy then. I probably still do now.
You can put it on your special request, enrichment meal tray, to slow you down on a flight.
Wow.
Yeah, because you don't want to, and I could have done with an enrichment.
Yeah, you could have done, well, enrichment all sorts, yeah.
Exactly. Then I wouldn't be able to eat all those eggs, those egg sandwiches with such unseemly haste. No, I've never forgotten. No.
Cally, tell us about your book. You've written a book.
I've written a book.
This is amazing.
Well, while we're talking about my book, I've got a surprise for you.
Have you?
Close your eyes.
Okay.
Here it comes. I shall put it into your hands.
Is it an enrichment toy?
It's an enrichment toy. There it is. Into your hands it goes.
Oh my gosh, what is this? Oh my word!
So there you are.
Amazing.
Yes, that is
a branded cap.
A branded cap.
I'm going to put it on.
Are we allowed to say?
I have a small head.
Or maybe it's a big head.
No, it's okay.
They are we allowed to say the name, or it's a bit slurry?
I think we can. Can we say it? Becky, producer Becky.
And if we have to bleep it out.
Okay. Bleeping's always good.
We like
so it's called Namaste. Namaste. And you Namaste baseball cap.
Oh my god, this is the coolest thing
I promise you it will start conversations wherever you go.
Great.
People love the branding of it.
Brilliant.
So yes, we sell them at my shows, and they go. I'm not asking you to pay for it. You could.
No, do I have to? I can pay for it.
I've got contact lists in my bag.
I was going to say, get out the tick remover quick.
Exactly. So yes, there it is. Yes, Namaste Mother. I would give you the book, but it's not out for another 2 weeks, and this is the only copy in the world.
That's totally fine.
So yes, the book. I decided I would write the book I would like to read, and it's a manifesto for women, in particular midlife women. But it's a book that celebrates women at all stages of our lives and looks at all the possibility that comes with challenging what society might say about us at every stage in our life, in particular from my vantage point of being a 50-something woman who is living the life I would like to live rather than the life I might have been told I should be living at this stage. And it basically charts my story of going from boardrooms to treading the boards. But it also, I was a coach for many, many years. So I've done lots of coaching and training of people. So it's also crucially got a lot of takeouts. Every chapter has 3 portable things that you can take out, do things with, whether it's about feeling like you're an imposter or how to give a speech or how to have a difficult conversation. There are 30 of them in the book, so 3 for every chapter. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm thumbing through a book, I think, well, it's all well and good you telling me I can be empowered, but what exactly am I supposed to do? So it helps with that as well. So yeah, it's all about and for women or anyone who knows a woman or has ever been given birth to by a woman. It'll be good for you as well.
Cally, thank you so much. What a joy.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
I've loved talking to you. I feel
so
you should
fun.
be a comedian. I feel you've
really
got
don't.
it.
You're very kind.
No, I think you should.
No, I don't think I'm quite there
I think
yet.
you are.
But, thank you. Okay,
Yes.
maybe this is my Joan Rivers moment.
Yeah, I believe in you. I'm the wise old orca telling you.
Oh my gosh, stop. Oh
You
God, I will
can.
cry because I do cry quite a lot.
Yeah, cry.
Okay,
Cry.
well, not quite, but I'm nearly. I'm welling up. Cally, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Best of luck with your tour.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck with your book.
Thank you.
And we will look forward to seeing all the wonderful things you do in the future.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Joy of Shopping podcast. You can catch up with all the other episodes in our YouTube playlist. do not forget to subscribe if you love this sort of content. Thank you so much for watching.